This is 3FM.
Over the last 10 years, well 9 years since I've lived on the Isle of Man, I've worked within the health service. I originally moved here as someone who'd been coming on holiday and absolutely loved the island. And I just feel we're losing some of the things that are appealing. And I've become increasingly frustrated with the health service and how we were moving forward. I've seen that in other areas of government. There's a lot of over-governance, and I think we need some new sort of fresh thinking individuals to come into the Keys and look at making some changes. I think with the health service we're trying to be too many things to too many people. We've already acknowledged there are some areas that we're not experts in, and we have to accept with an island that's always going to be the case. The reality is, if you're wanting someone to do your surgery, you want someone who's doing that regularly. And I think we need to look at actually increasing the number of operations we do by bringing perhaps people over from the UK in the areas we're looking to specialise in, and becoming more of a centre for excellence, and actually then in return looking at putting more of the cases where we're struggling to the UK initially, rather than ending up having to look for support later. I also think there's more things can be done with video conferencing, rather than having to send people away for some sort of less formal appointments. I certainly would never want to compromise anyone's healthcare, but I do think that there's efficiencies that can be made, and especially talking within the different sectors of healthcare amongst mental health, the acute healthcare admissions, and the ongoing community care. I don't think we're getting a really good sort of continuity of care at the minute on the island. So specifically within the constituency, the thing that's coming time and time again, we've got the promenade, because it's something, I mean, the whole island has a sort of buy-in to the promenade in terms of the fact everyone goes there at some point. But specifically in Douglas East, it's something people are seeing day in, day out. You try and walk along to work on the pavement side, and the state of it is awful. I mean, the bubbles that have popped up are just getting worse and worse, and the actual road surface as well is really not of a high quality. And we're aware that needs doing, and what we need is someone to make a decisive decision as to how we're going to progress with that. I don't think we need a all singing, all dancing set up. I think we need something that's perfectly serviceable. In terms of putting in some of the other infrastructure at a later date, I think that's the pretty bits around the edges of what you do when you've got money to spare. At the minute, we're not in that position. However, we definitely do need to resolve the actual problem we face, which is that the quality is not good, and there are people having injuries from falling over bikes. I mean, trying to cycle a bike down there, those same issues. I think that definitely needs addressing. The other thing we're getting still is parking. Because of the nature of Douglas East, we're a very, very sort of condensed population. A lot of the houses have been converted in the past into flats, which has proven brilliant in terms of providing infrastructure for people to live and work. But we've got those people with cars, and that's a reality of today. We either need to drastically improve the bus service and incentivise people to use that bus service, or alternatively, we need to look at new ways of providing parking. Something that I think needs exploration is things such as schools. Schools historically not used from the hours of sort of 5 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. in the morning, which is most of the time when people want to park. Could we provide a opportunity there where we actually use those spaces to provide parking? Some of the unused sites, could we not use those for parking, certainly in the interim, while we come up with better solutions for them? I think we need to retain the visible police presence. I think the police are doing a fabulous job on the island, and they have worked within budget cuts, and those are undoubtedly going to become harder to sort of achieve in terms of how much is provided to the police service to achieve a greater amount of sort of support for the community. I think we need to look at ways where the community become more involved in that as well. Whether we have an increased sort of presence with the neighbourhood watch schemes, and we look at really boosting those. But I certainly think that the police are doing a good job, and what I don't want to see is us losing the police presence. From where I am standing, I see people don't know about the Isle of Man. I mean, I was fortunate my father had actually come when he was a boy, because he lived in Preston. It was a natural place. People tended to just hop across the water. We are facing a totally different challenge these days, where people can, for less than £20 in some cases, they can go to Europe, various countries that offer these cheaper flights. However, I do think at the minute there is uncertainty, certainly with the sort of exchange rates because of the UK's decision to exit the European Union. and we could use those opportunities. We don't have that issue at all. People can come here, their money's worth exactly the same as it was in England. There's definitely been an increase in the UK for people holidaying within the UK, and I think we need to capitalise on that. We also need to look at how the steam packet offer their deals, because I do think we need to make it easier to come to the island. We have got better flight routes. Things are getting there, but there's more work to be done. It needs to be something where you can just pay a smaller amount of money, you come over here. There's no question that the cheaper the price, the more people come, and actually the more money is injected into the economy. So by taking a little bit of hit, by subsidising travel, I think we could increase the amount of money we bring into our tourist industry.
More music for the Isle of Man.
3FM.